All right, let's see here. Can't tell if my audio is working or not. Check it. Let me check over here. I don't do this enough, so it's hard for me to tell if my audio is working. So let me go over here and pull my own stream up. Uh, let me see. See if we got audio. Let's see. Yep, there's audio. Good deal. Good deal. Let's see. Yep, there's audio. Good deal. A little bit of a delay, but the audio's there. See if anybody shows up. I don't know if anyone else is live or not. So I guess we will have to wait and see. Get to the dang chat comments. Oh man, I don't do this near enough. No, don't want that button. Where's the other button? Trying to figure out how to get over to the chat. What's up, Paul? What's going on, man? How do I chat? I'm trying to figure out how to post the link for in here and pin it, but so give me a couple minutes here while I try to figure this out. Good deal. Glad it's working. I got 3 different devices in here running trying to do this one live, so I figure out how to post the link. I need one of these YouTube experts to come in here and tell me how to post the link. Huh. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Let me see. Come back over here on the laptop. Stream settings. That's the stream there. There's the chat. Let me try this. Oh no, I got it. I got it figured out right here. No, I don't. Never mind. Thought I had it figured out. But no, I do not. What you got going on, Barry? What you up to, man? I'm over here trying to figure out how to post the dang link in the comments. I cannot figure out how to do it. Yeah, I got your message on Instagram, man. I'll have to go back and look at it though. But I did see it pop up. I haven't oh, that's the private chat. I don't want to put it there. I haven't gone and listened to it yet though. Ah, you know what? I think I just figured it out. Yeah, now I got to figure out how to pin it. What's up, Witch? How's it going? Figure out how to pin it. No, they don't pin it. I don't know why they keep changing this, making it more complicated for us old folks. They need to make it easier for us old folks to figure out how to do this. But I haven't used StreamYard in, oh God, probably 6, 7 months, if not longer. Also got to remember, well, I can't figure out how to freaking post it. If someone comes in, they'll just have to go back through the comments and look for it. But yeah, you sent a voice. I know you sent a voice message earlier, Paul. Whatever voice message you sent earlier, it didn't come through. But I saw there was another message in there, so maybe you resent it or you sent a new one. No, changes sucks, Barry. It sucks. Because then I have to learn something new. I got to relearn how to uh, how to do all this crap, right? Just leave it simple, leave it like it is. I wish they just had a button that said live, go live. You know, camera on or off. Tell me whether the audio is working or not. You know, all that kind of good stuff, right? Just make it simple. Just make it easy. Yeah, which you're correct. Shit changes daily, and it seems like everything Not just YouTube, not just the internet. I mean, everything. I don't know what's going on in Laredo. I'm down here in Laredo, Texas, and normally, like a Sunday night, everybody's delivering on Monday. All the streets throughout the warehouse district, the industrial parks will be full. So I got over here as early as possible so I could get parked out in front of where I deliver tomorrow. And there's nobody around. There's only one other truck. So I don't know if they're expecting an invasion tonight. I don't know if the aliens are expected to come tonight. I don't know what the deal is or why, but it's got me kind of creeped out because there's nobody around. Literally nobody. There's hardly any traffic. There's no trucks parking waiting to deliver in the morning. It's weird. And any of y'all that have ever ran down here, you know that Laredo's normally packed. Like it's bumper to bumper. It's like LA in rush hour down here all the time. And it wasn't like that coming in here today. Getting parked out here in the industrial park, it's quiet. Really, really quiet, which is creepy. I don't know. Maybe the aliens are coming. Change doesn't keep me sharp. There ain't nothing that helps me stay sharp. Yeah, we're at near Cincinnati. I really don't care for going to Cincinnati much. There's too much road construction around there. They've been doing road construction on Cincinnati for, I think, most of my career, to, to be honest. They've been doing road construction in Cincinnati for 10 years or more, something like that. Been a long time. Well, they can keep their probe, man. And do y'all believe in aliens? That's something. Do all of y'all down there in the chat? Do y'all believe in aliens? I'll tell y'all my opinion after I see what y'all say. I got a, I got a theory on that. A little bit of a theory. It might be way out there, but I'll put it out there anyway. I ain't no expert. I've never seen an alien. I have often wondered though, like anytime there is an alien abduction, it's always inbred redneck living in a trailer out in the middle of the desert, and it's like they traveled all however far they came from, which is farther than we can travel. So their technology is so advanced that the guy they want to ask about how life is on Earth is an inbred redneck in a trailer in the middle of the desert. That's probably not even living on land he owns. Like what what's what are they going to learn? I mean, for real, what are they going to learn? Wow, that's crazy. Now that's real unusual, Witch. That's scary, to be honest with you. I've been around that area you're talking about, and normally it's pretty packed up. Yeah, Cincinnati sucks. Boone County, Kentucky. Yeah, I lived in Mount Sterling, Kentucky in 2007. I think 2007, 2008, which is a little east of where you're at. I ain't the leader. I ain't the leader or nothing, Barry. Well, which it's true. It's true. I mean, it's like anytime you ever see they get on whatever and talk about this guy on TV seen an alien, or he had an alien encounter or whatever it was. It's always some inbred redneck, that's his sister's making him a cup of coffee to chase with his beer, and he's talking about whatever they did to him, right? Every single time, never fails. And it's like, why? Why? What's up, 7Q? How's it going, man? Barbecue man right there. Oh, really? Well, we might know each other. I lived around Mount Sterling, and Mount Sterling's not that big of a town. I worked back then. I didn't drive trucks. I worked in Nestle. Worked in maintenance on Nestle. And I worked in KDMK for a while. I worked over in Winchester at this place that made these, oh, dang, like plastic. I see trailers hauling them. Sometimes they're like plastic liners for septic systems. But yeah, I lived, trying to remember the name of that place. It was like a pay by the week place. Something Manor, maybe Mount Sterling Manor or Sterling Manor. It's right there on the main exit when you get off, maybe a mile from the highway on the left, right across from a pawn shop. But yeah, I was dating a girl that wasn't real good back then. She was hooked on pills and she was into cleaning houses, and then she ended up stealing some checks or something from one of the houses she was cleaning. And then she went wild on me one day, just disappeared. About an hour after she disappeared, the law showed up looking for her, and I told him I didn't know where she was. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't have told him where she was even if I did. And then it was like maybe 3 or 4 hours later, her sister shows up over at my apartment. She's like, I'm not gonna say her name out here, but she was like, "Have you seen such and such?" And I said, "No, man." Law come by looking for her. I said, She flipped out. She bugged out, took off, and she said, "Well, I think they got her." So we went up to the police department, and sure enough, they had her. And she ended up going to prison. She went to Pee Wee Valley for a few years. I started driving a truck not too long later, and then when she got out of prison, she hit me up, and I really wasn't into it. And then, but we stayed talking for a little while, and then she went on and started dating like her second cousin or third cousin. And that's who she's with now. But weird, some kind of weird shit. But yeah, if he's from Mount Sterling, we probably know each other or know of each other. What's going on, Lonnie? Lonnie, what's up, man? Yeah, I don't have very good luck, Paul. I really don't. I really don't. Not very good luck at all. That's a place I can't sleep at. You can't sleep in Laredo? I mean, I like Laredo. I used to have a lot more fun down here back in the day. Back in the day, we used to go to Mexico and stuff down here. Used to have a van over at the Flying J, and you could hook up with him on Channel 17, and he would make trips back and forth. It was like every 2 hours. He would take you down there, drop you off, and then bring you back. And he'd take you to Boys Town, wherever you wanted to go down there within the tourist area. And he was a pretty good dude, man, and he kind of gave you the heads up on where to go, where not to go. And if there were bad things going on down there, he wouldn't run that day, so it was straight. But he'd go down there, drop you off, and then he would come back. And then he'd grab another load, come down there and drop them off. Every time he went and dropped a load off, he would bring whoever wanted to come back, he'd bring them back. He had a meeting spot down there. And then you'd come back onto this side. And when he got to the border, just to make it easy, he would drop you off. You would walk through, excuse me, you would walk through with whatever you had, check all that stuff in, let them inspect it. And then once you got back on this side, you get back in the van, and then he'd bring you on over to the Flying J and drop you back off. But it was a lot of fun down here back in the day, but it's changed a lot. I wouldn't be running to Mexico, not right now. Not with the way it is right now. Sure do also believe in a good woman, which none have come across. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very true. Mullins, Blevins, and Bennett. I actually am related to Blevins, but not in Kentucky. I'm related to Blevins in Texas. But no, none of them last names are that at all. None of those last names are the last names of anybody I know over there. Everybody I knew over there was trouble. I don't know if you remember, but like 5 or 6 years ago, they had that well, it was two or three of them that were involved in it. They were making a drug deal. They ended up killing one of the guys. Two of the guys were from Dayton. They had come down, trying to tell the story without saying any names. But the white dude that was from there, that was involved in that, he took the car over to Winchester after they dumped the body. They went and dumped the body up there in one of the creeks out there in the country, one of the rivers or whatever. And he went to Winchester and was washing the trunk out, all that. Him and another chick he was with. And then they went and turned it in. It was a rental, I believe. They ended up getting busted. I think the girl rolled and told the law everything. They ended up getting busted. Two guys from Dayton, and then a girl and a guy from there in Mount Sterling. Well, that was my stepson and his girlfriend. So I was around that group. If you remember that story and remember those people, then that was the group I was around at that time. Not a real good group of people. 10-4. I was in New Mexico yesterday. Mount Sterling is where they die the dogs. I have no idea. Mount Sterling's off I-64. I can't remember the exit number. It's east of Lexington, between Lexington and the West Virginia state line. There's uh, there's a candy factory there. Most of the people work though out at like I think Cooper Tire or something like that. There's a cabinet company out there. Nestle's got a factory out there. KDMK, which they make filters for fuel systems, they got a factory out there. I've never picked up there in a truck, but there's plenty of truck traffic there. Yes, Bill, she was very wild, extremely wild. No loyalty at all, none whatsoever. Pretty as the day is long. She looked like a Barbie. Blonde hair, blue eyes, beautiful woman. Took care of herself really well. But upstairs, it wasn't there. She was no good. She was a lot of trouble. From what I hear, I still stay in contact with quite a few people over there. From what I hear, she's calmed down a lot, but I don't deal with her. I don't mess with her much. What's up, jockey? No, I'm not having no truck troubles or nothing like that. I'm just bored. I'm kicked back here in the sleeper, laying down. I figured I'd go live for a few minutes. I'm not really a live channel. I don't get a lot of people in a live or nothing like that. Shorts is where most of my viewership is, but every now and then I'll go live just to see who pops in, and sometimes other YouTubers will pop in just to see what's popping and see how it goes. But I'm not a live guy, so some channels get a live, man, they get 100 people in there. Man, I'm normally pretty low. I don't go live enough to build that kind of crowd. Pastors and singers? No, none of these people were pastors or singers. I don't think any of these people ever went to church. I didn't go to church when I lived there at all. I lived on Culpeper for a while. I remember that street. I lived in a duplex there on Culpeper, right next to, was that Speedy Stop or something like that? And then the apartment that I lived in when old girl flipped out, it was just a couple blocks up from that. And I stayed in Winchester for a little while with a buddy of mine, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. I stayed out there in Winchester, but I stayed in Mount Sterling for the most part. Are they from Martin, Kentucky? No, they were from Mount Sterling, Kentucky. And I have no idea. I don't know where Martin, Kentucky is. I have no idea where Martin, Kentucky is. They're a lot of fun, though, Bill. They are a lot of fun. When you're young, they are a lot of fun. At my age now, I don't have the heart for it. I ain't got the patience for it. I don't want to deal with it. I wouldn't put up with half the crap I put up with. I remember one night, I'll tell you a little story. I remember one night she got all spun out on Xanax. And I never have been into pills. Even when I did drugs, I was not into pills. It was never my thing. Well, the cops called me. They're taking her to jail. They got her up on the mountain. And if you've been around Mount Sterling, you know there's a lot of mountains, especially south of 64. And she was south of 64 up there on a little 2-lane road coming off the mountain. She had stolen her sister's car while she was messed up on these Xanax bars. And coming all the way down the mountain, she's banging the car into the mountain, into the side of the wall. Thankfully, she didn't drive off the cliffside, but she just beat up the whole side of that car. Well, by the time I get up there, her sister's already there. Her sister's yelling at her and stuff. They got her out of the car. They're trying to make sure she's all right. She's still not cuffed up, but she's going to jail. And she throws her purse. towards me and her sister, and I didn't know why. I just figured there was something in it probably. So I pick her purse up and I go over to my vehicle and throw it in the back seat. I go back over there, get to talking to him and stuff. And sure enough, she's going to jail. Her sister's not pressing charges, thank God. That car is just totaled. Tires bent, whole side scraped up, dented up. It's all tore up. Well, the next day, when she gets bail, I go get her out. Sure enough, she had a bunch of Xanax bars in that purse. That's why she threw it at us. And they never did go get in my car and go search that purse. Cops there weren't real sharp. But when I get her out of jail, she don't even remember none of it. She don't remember stealing her sister's car. She don't remember going up to the mountain. She don't remember nothing. She literally remembers being at the house, waking up in jail. That's how bad she was on them Xanax pills. She was pretty bad off. I don't know if Trump's gonna get back in or not. I have no idea. I got to be honest though, Paul. I like Trump's policies that he had. I'm just not sure that Trump is going to be the best option for us in the next election. And the reason I say that is because I'm not sure that Trump is running for the right reasons. So when he ran for president the first time, I believe he was running for the right reasons. He was running with Americans in mind. But I think now it's more of an ego thing than it is anything. He wants to show that he can do it or whatever, trying to prove to himself. You know, people like that are pretty strong-willed. So I'm not sure he's got the right intentions. So I'm not 100% sold that he should be the next president, but he might. You never know. Grandbaby's doing well, crawling around, all excited, uh, very attentive and paying attention to people. It's pretty cool going through her going through her learning process, being a baby. Is Highway 65 still a nightmare? Have no idea. You talking about Interstate 65 between Louisville and Indianapolis? Because I try to avoid that place. There's got all kind of road construction on it. Have you been to CR England? No, sir. I sure have not been to CR England. I don't have a whole lot of good things to say from what I've heard of CR England. But you got to remember too that if you're thinking of going to CR England, you're probably new. You're probably looking for a school, and there's really not a great option when it comes to schools. Those companies that have schools know they can pretty much do whatever they want. They're taking advantage of people coming through. As most of the drivers in the chat will probably tell you, that that going to a trucking school, there's some that are a little better than others, but those companies are basically just meant to start. That's where you start. You do your first year and try to get out of there as fast as possible. So and there's a few drivers in the chat. I'm sure they will probably school you on that as well. I went to Stevens Transport whenever I first started, and they weren't great. But from some of the stories I've heard, they were better than some of the guys I knew that went to CR England. But there were guys that went to Prime that were a lot happier than us that went to Stevens Transport. So from what I understand, Prime's got a pretty good school. And if you're interested in Prime, there's a YouTuber, Trucking Along with Kiersey, I think is her name. And she talks a lot about Prime. I think she's a trainer over there. And she can give you a lot of information about Prime and what they do. And she's been there for years. And Prime's refrigerated also, just like CR England, just like Stevens Transport. I feel like you'll make more money at Prime than you would at CR England. But Stevens wasn't too bad. Stevens has a lot of rules. They're a pretty stressful company to work for. Stevens has cameras in their trucks now. They didn't have that when I was there. They've got driver-facing cameras. So I I don't know if I would endorse Stevens today like I would years ago because a lot's changed over there. But I think they were better than Prime was. Let's see what else we got here. I don't know about being lucky, which I ain't never been one for luck. If anything can go wrong around me, it's gonna go wrong. Like right now, there's no traffic. There's a high probability that the aliens are coming, and I'm the only one that's going to come up missing. What's going on, Alan Murphy? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well, bub. Hope you're staying out of trouble over there. My opinion on a starter company offering training. Well, if I was starting over right now, coming into the industry right now, well, first off, I wouldn't suggest coming into the industry right now because freight's at the worst it's been in a decade. But if I was doing that, I didn't have any other option. Prime would probably be my first choice. Maverick would probably be my second, and Stevens Transport would probably be my third. That's the order in which I would do it. But that's just me. So that's just my own opinion. CR England would probably be down towards the bottom of the list of companies. Oh, I completely understand Sideways and all the other drivers in the chat. We were all the same way when we first started. Don't let anybody knock you for being in a hurry to get into the industry. Don't let anybody knock you for where you're choosing to go. We all, at one time, every single one of us that are in a truck right now, at one time, we're in the same position you're in right now. We all went somewhere. We all started out. We paid our bones, as you want to call it, put our time in, didn't make a whole lot of money our first year or two, and worked our way up to where we're at now, and hopefully in a better spot, right? So you just go where you feel comfortable going, because you may go to CR England and you may love it. You might you might go there and hate it. You may wish you went to Prime. You may go to Prime and hate it and wish you went to CR England. Everybody's a little different, and a lot of what goes into a trucking company is where you live and whether that company has a terminal near you. That might benefit you more. So don't stress over it too much, man. Just do what you got to do and make the best choice you can for you and your wife. What road isn't filled with nightmare four wheelers? That is true. And four wheelers have lost their patience. They've lost their mind. I I don't four wheelers. You remember back in the day, if a truck was coming around or getting anywhere around a four wheelers would back off. They had common sense years ago. They would get out of the way. It's like now they dare you to run them over. They try to get you to run them over. They don't have any. They don't have any sense of what can happen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't got no sense of what can happen to them. It's it is freaking odd. I know when I'm in my personal car, I watch for the trucks. I don't want to get ran over. I know what they're capable of. I know they can run over me and never even know I was there. So I'm not trying to get in their way. But for whatever reason, nowadays cars just don't, they don't care. They just do what they want to do. Well, there you go. There's Alan Murphy. Uh, Sideways. He went to Prime. I've most of the people I know that went to Prime, even if they're not at Prime anymore, they say it was a good place to start. A lot of people stay there for long periods of time. So that tells me that they are making money over there. You may be able to make more somewhere else, but they do make a decent living over there. So that's something I would keep in mind sideways if that's what you're looking at. And Alan Murphy there, if you have a question about Prime, he can probably answer it for you. Tell you what's going on over there. JFK Jr. I don't know. Hang on. I don't know. I like DeSantis. I gotta say, Paul, I really like DeSantis. I like DeSantis a lot. I'm not sure we need another Kennedy in there. The Kennedys have had really bad luck in their lifetime. A lot of them get killed. Plane crashes, gunshots. We still ain't figured out who killed JFK in the 60s, right? So I just feel like if we put one of the Kennedys in there, we're asking to get invaded because they're just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. What's up, Dozer, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well, brother. I went to Swift the very first time, did my year, then went to Cisco for a year. After that, I went to Creek Carrier and been here for 5 years. Skyline, I worked at Creek. I worked at Creek for 7 years off and on. What's kind of interesting is me and you have something in common. I went to Swift my very first time coming into the industry in 2005, but I didn't have a CDL yet. I was at their academy in San Antonio, and when we went to the driver's license office to get our driver's license or get our permit or whatever to start learning how to drive trucks, I went to jail on an old warrant and never did get to finish with school. It'd be some years later before I came into trucking. I actually did a video about that called "My Nightmare at Swift Transportation" or something like that. But it wasn't Swift's fault. It was all my fault. Swift didn't have anything to do with it. It's just how it went. You want to make sure you don't have any warrants and you're taking care of everything you need to take care of when you go to truck driving school. Because when you walk in there to get your CDL, even if you think you're clear, the warrant they had on me was old. It was old as hell. Went all the way back to, I think, 2000 or 2001 or something like that. It came up. It came up and it came up quickly. DPS snatched me up quickly. You will go to jail. They don't care you're in truck driving school. They will take you to jail right there on the spot. They do not care. So keep that in mind. Stupidity, 80,000 pound CMV versus 4,000 pound four wheeler. It's not hard math. No, it's not. But they are suicidal, Barry. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Why do you say that, Barry? From what I've seen, DeSantis seems pretty solid. But I'm not from Florida, so I don't see the local politics. I don't know what he's doing there, you know, on y'all's level. So I know one thing that did kind of concern me with DeSantis was he seemed very welcomed by the Republicans there in Washington D.C., and that can be dangerous. Good deal, Dozer. I'm glad to hear it, man. Really am. I went to Prime for school, only best training ever, but leave soon after. Yeah, Paul. Well, you're still over at Creed, aren't you? I know me and you worked together at Hunt Transportation for a little while, but I think you're back over at Crete last I heard. Yeah, Dozer, it's a funny story to tell now, but it wasn't real funny when it happened. It kind of sucked. I was trying to get my life together, I thought, and trying to start over, and I ended up in handcuffs. So it really didn't work out the way I had planned. But hey, it's the way it goes, man. Everything in life happens for a reason. Yeah, I've got your number. I'll give you a call. You got some news for me. You having more kids, Dozer? Or are you having more grandkids or great grandkids or what's going on? Freight is pure hell, still getting mics or miles, but I'm also on the phone 100%. Let's go. Need a load. Yeah. Yeah, freight slowed down quite a bit. I'm kind of thankful I'm at where I'm at because we run our own stuff. It's our own product. So we stay pretty busy. We don't depend on contracts and stuff like outside carriers do. So like with us, whatever we don't haul, they put on owner operator trucks. So we've always got an abundance of freight because they've got more than enough to cover the drivers that they have. So we stay pretty busy. Yes, indeed. Get your permit before you go anywhere, before you go train. It sucks when you're out of town and you are at the company. You might be a state away from where you live, and you walk in there to go get your CDL, and you go to jail somewhere where you don't know nobody. You don't want to go through that. Just get your permit before you go. That way, if there's any issues, you can have that stuff taken care of before you get there. No, Dozer, it sure wasn't. It uh it was pretty embarrassing because everybody saw me getting arrested and hauled out of there, and it just wasn't. It wasn't good at all. It sucked. Oh, right on, Dozer. Right on. Yeah, I'll have to give you a call whenever I'll be headed to Oklahoma tomorrow, so maybe I'll give you a holler tomorrow once I get past Austin and all that. It's kind of hard to say. Depends on how traffic goes. Seems like from Austin to Dallas is all one city now, but just see how the traffic goes. The freight is light when the local port never has product coming in or leaving out. Yeah, Barry, that is a problem, and the freight is real light, like really, really light. I don't know if any of y'all listened to the interview I did or the recorded phone call I did with the broker, but I put it out yesterday, I think. He said freight's picking up a little bit, but not much. It's very little. He said June and July was almost completely dead. And when he's talking about freight, he's talking about what's on the spot market. He's not talking about loads in general, but he's talking about what's on the spot market, the load boards. I didn't have a chance, bro, but I'm sorry to hear about your mother. Oh, yeah, Skyline, man, that's life. That's the way it goes. Um, it's my mom, I'm gonna miss her, but I mean, she took the walk that every single one of us is going to take one day, some of us sooner than later, but every single one of us is going to get dropped in that box, right? I mean, ain't none of us getting out of here alive. All of us going to either get dropped in that box or dropped in a river or dropped in a lake or dropped in a fire to get cremated, right? It's a sad part of life, but every single thing that lives dies, from a bacteria or organism all the way up to a human being. Every single thing that lives dies, man. But I sure appreciate the condolences there. I don't know about being a success story, Dozer. I just dug my way up out of the ditch and onto the road finally, and I crawled for a really long time because I spent my first couple of years out here pretty broke. I remember one time working at Stevens Transport, I was so broke that I would buy ramen noodles at the dollar store, and I would buy them cans of Vienna sausages, and I would cook ramen noodles on the truck. I couldn't even afford a microwave. So if I wasn't at a truck stop where I could heat it up, I would put water in it and then I would set it up in the window so the sun could heat it up. And it would heat it up enough to soften the noodles. And then I would take the the Vienna sausages and I would cut them up and I'd put them in there, right? And then that's what I would eat. I ate that for dinner almost nightly, almost every single night. Sometimes I'd get them little dollar soups or something like that. Or if I had enough points on my card, I'd get the 2 for $3 hot dogs that'll kill you if you eat them more than once a week. But yeah, no, my first year or two out here was real bad. I was pretty damn broke. I live in Vegas. Should we go do a point spread bet? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, that's good, Paul. Crete's a good company. I mean, they treated me well. The only reason I left is because I kept getting put on the Walmart fleet, and it kept happening over and over and over. And it was a constant battle with them to try to get off of it. And the last Walmart they had me on, the one I was at when I left, was Paul's Valley. And I don't know if you've ever worked Paul's Valley, but that is absolutely the worst Walmart I have ever worked in my entire life. You're basically running Dallas every day or every other day. Every now and then you'll get a load out to West Oklahoma or something, but um, almost always running the Dallas area delivering to Walmarts. It sucked. It really sucked. It could get abducted by aliens and perhaps they have a answer to eternal life. Well, Barry, they might. They might very well have an answer to eternal life. I kind of wonder, and this is where my belief gets kind of out there, right? We got the Bible, and I'm Christian, but we got the Bible, right? How do we know that our Creator isn't out there, right? Because He said He created the heavens and the earth. So out there is heavens, down here's the earth. How do we know it wasn't when angels were coming and giving the messages to be put into the Bible? How do we know that wasn't aliens? You know, to us we might think, hey, that's an alien, but how do we know that's not an angel? You know what I'm saying? That I don't know if you're following my drift there. It gets really deep, but I've thought about it a lot, and it's kind of one of my theories there. And I may be wrong, but it's just one of my theories. Inspiration for those that are struggling. Keep going, man. Put one foot in front of the other. Do it over and over and over. Anything you practice, you'll get good at if you practice it long enough. Anyone here from Best? I talked to him, oh man, a few weeks back. I was thinking about doing an interview and interviewing Best. Um, then some other things came up. I had shot him an email with the questions I was going to ask and stuff like that, but I think he's got some other things going on. So he goes live every now and then. You can catch him over there on his channel. He'll go live every now and then. But I don't watch Best a whole lot. And when I do watch him, I probably only watch about 15, 20 minutes of him. I'm in and out, in and out. I don't watch him for a whole long time. What's up? What's going on? Haven't been able to see any lives lately. What's going on, Brandon Bearden? What is the deal, man? Yo, yo, yo. How is it going? But to answer your question, Dozer, I mean, he still goes live and stuff. And I'll go in there every now and then and get in the chat. I don't get on his panel. I don't get on anybody else's panel anymore. I don't do that. If I'm gonna get on a live, I'm gonna do it on my channel. I'm not getting on anybody else's live. But I do go in the chat and I'll hang out just long enough to let everybody know I'm still alive. Talk, say hi, say what's up, say what's going on, and bounce out. Right? I don't hang around too long. I try to avoid most of the BS. There's a lot of crap flying around in the air. The only way you're gonna miss it's if you duck. But yeah, there's quite a bit of it. But I will go check out Best every now and then. I'll check out Will Burner every now and then. Um, Elite, I'll check him out every now and then. Um, Another one, Billy Rains. I'll go see what he's doing every now and then. I watched a little bit of TC Boggs today, and I watched another guy too, and I shared him on the community page. He's pretty good, and it's somebody I haven't seen before, but he's pretty good, pretty interesting. So he'd be a good one to go watch. Dang, trying to clear my throat. But yeah, he'd be a good one to go watch. He's pretty decent. I enjoyed him. Trying to find my cigarettes. Like I really need another cigarette, right? But for the most part, though, I don't stay in any of them chats very long. I think the longest I probably stay in one's 20, 30 minutes. I'm in and out. I don't hang around very long. I stay to myself, stay over here in my own little world. Put up a lot of shorts, put up a video every now and then. And every great once in a while like this, I'll go live and hang out for a few minutes. But it just depends on how I feel that day. Some of them guys are really good at lives. James is pretty good at a live. Elite's pretty decent at a live. Billy Rains is okay. He's pretty decent at a live. That guy that I watched today, he's on my community page. He's real good at lives. Myself, I'm not real good at lives. I don't have a lot of practice with it. I've only gone live maybe 6 or 7 times in 3 years. I just don't do it very much. But every now and then I'll do it just to kind of interact with y'all and see how things are going. But most of the time I just do pre-recorded stuff and shorts. Right, I don't listen to a lot of them anymore. Got tired of the drama. Well, I mean, it's the drama community, Dozer. That community is the drama community. That's what they do. That's where their entertainment comes from. So that's just kind of their thing. It's kind of their niche. I tried it a little bit. I'm not real good at it. And as some of them would say, I don't like getting in the mud. I like staying pretty clean. So it's not for me. So I don't do a lot of drama. I don't mess with it much. Plus nowadays they're doing all kinds of crap. They're making up stories and all kinds of stuff now. So it's not even really drama anymore. It's almost like fictionary drama. It used to be very factual, like when they would go after each other, but Now it's like they ran out of things to say, so they just make up something. Also freight bad. Holidays close. Yes. Yes, Paul. Very true. But you have a good night, Dozer, man. It was good hearing from you, and hopefully I will have time tomorrow, and I will give you a holler, and we can talk about your granddaughter and see how things are going. I want to know if you think switching from CFI to hunt transportation is smart. Well, I can answer that without even reading the rest. Yes, yes, yes. Hunt Hunt has its issues. It's not a perfect company. I will say that direct right up front. Um, Paul Thompson, he's another guy in the chat. He worked at Hunt when I worked there. He'd probably tell you a pretty similar story. Hunt has its issues, but comparing Hunt to CFI, it's night and day. I wouldn't even question that. I would, if I was at CFI, I would go to Hunt with a quick minute. I wouldn't even think about it. Yes, you'll make more than 800 or 900 a week, and I'm home Friday and leave on Sunday, sometimes Monday. Well, your home time's just going to depend. I know they got some dedicated stuff. I think they were doing dedicated stuff, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were doing dedicated stuff with John Deere. Um, and I think they had a couple of other accounts. I'm not sure how often those guys were going home. I ran pretty much OTR with them, and most of it was freight, coast to coast freight. I did a whole lot of North Carolina to California to Washington, back out to the Midwest. A lot of coast to coast freight. My issue with them was my dispatcher. I really did not like my dispatcher very much at all. Um, Me and my dispatcher were like gasoline and fire. I mean, it was not good. But oh, and that's another thing. I see Skyline said, if you like flatbed, Hunt Transportation does flatbed, but most of what they haul, probably 90% of what they haul is equipment. I I don't think I ever put on a tarp the whole time I was at Hunt Transportation. I never put on a tarp. They were trying to get away from tarp loads. They are not a regular flatbed company, not at all. They they're a whole lot better. They're a whole lot better. They're probably the best flatbed company I ever worked for in terms of pay, in terms of the type of freight we hauled. They do them irrigation systems. They haul a lot of those. They haul a lot of tractor combines. Uh, they haul a lot of tractors and stuff in and out of the ports. I picked up John Deere down in Galveston when I was with them. They do a lot of that stuff. It's really laid back, really, really laid back. Yeah, Barry, I'm not real good at telling stories, man, but I try. I pretty much just talk about whatever used to happen out here. It used to be a lot crazier out here. It's a little bit boring out here nowadays. It is nothing like what it used to be. I haven't seen a truck driver in his boxers chasing a half naked lot lizard across a lot in about 10 years. I don't know what's happened, but it's really gone downhill. I haven't seen lot lizards walking around the lot butt naked with nothing but a jacket on, walking around trying to sell themselves. I haven't seen a good lot lizard fight in the parking lot. I haven't seen a good lot lizard on drugs standing out in the middle of the median when you're turning into the truck stop dancing, looking up at the stars. I mean, it has really changed out here, Barry. It's gotten quite boring, to be honest. And yeah, I answered that a while ago, and Skyline is correct. That is flatbed. Yes, it is. Blindsight, what's going on, man? Long time no see. I don't go live very often over here, but I'm glad you stopped by to say what's up, man. That is awesome. Well, trucking with T-Bone, man, I ain't seen you in a while. Uh, to be honest with you, West Memphis is not even as bad as it used to be. I go through West Memphis now, and I turn my CB on every single time I go through there because it used to be so exciting. And the last few times I've gone through there, it's been quiet. Nothing on the radio. West Memphis used to get wild. I mean, really wild. One year there was a bum or something, or homeless guy, or somebody just on drugs. Over at the Petro, they walked in and they walked over to where the fuel islands are there. He was asking drivers for money. And I don't know what happened. He exchanged words with one of the drivers. He asked for money. He pulled out a gun and shot that driver in the head. West Memphis used to be really wild. I mean, buck wild. West Memphis used to be wild. Like they would be selling drugs over the radio. Of course, half of them were cops. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the cop shop's only about a mile from them truck stops in West Memphis. Back when I worked for Stevens Transport, we used to pick up that Americold there in West Memphis. And whenever you leave those truck stops to go to that Americold, you drive pretty close to that police department. It's literally right there. But yeah, West Memphis used to be real wild. Girls all over the place, especially over at the Flying J and the Loves, because they got the hotels right there. You got all the motels right there. Them girls used to be all over the place out there. But probably the most wild stuff I saw with lot lizards was North Little Rock at the Petro, Ontario, California, and TA West. And for those of y'all that are new drivers out in Ontario, they're on McMillan Road, there in Ontario, California. You know, both of those truck stops used to be TAs. Used to be TA East and TA West. So like if you were headed west and you exited and you made that left on McMillan and went over the highway, TA West would be on your right, TA East would be on your left. TA West was the wild truck stop. That's where most of the partying was at. They used to have a saying. It was TA West is the best. And they used to be the saying back in the day. But there and Gary, Indiana were probably the three places I saw the most wild. Just, I mean, Jerry Springer. If Jerry Springer had a lot lizard show, it would have been one of those three places that it would have been happening at. Maybe Fort Wayne, Indiana. I remember one night out in Ontario, California. I was at TA West. I was parked on the third row, which they called Party Row back in the day. Now everybody's got cell phones, so there ain't no such thing as Party Row anymore. Everybody just locks themselves up in their truck. But anyway, we were sitting back there on the third row, and I was trying to count the lot lizards. There was a bunch of them, all different, all different kinds, all over the lot, man. And I lost count at like 20 or 21. I didn't lose count like I forgot how to count. I'm a truck driver, but I ain't that kind of truck driver. I lost count because I didn't know if I'd already counted that one or not, you know. So there was at least 21 lot lizards on that one lot on that one night. And it was the middle of the week. It wasn't even a weekend. That lot used to get wild. When I worked at Stevens, one of the drivers over there had picked up a girl on that lot. He was parked on the very back row, closest to the interstate, backed up to that fence. And for whatever reason, he didn't pay her, ran her out of the truck or whatever. She goes and gets her pimp, and them pimps, I guess they ain't as friendly as the ones you see on TV, you know? They drove down through there, found the truck that that girl was in. She pointed it out. They they just shot the truck up. Did drive-by shooting right there in the lot. Um, it used to get really, really wild out here. 2013, 2012 or 2013, I don't remember which. There was a documentary done about it, and they featured a bunch of truck stops. They featured Oklahoma City, Gary, Indiana, TA West, North Little Rock, Fort Wayne, Indiana, West Memphis, Arkansas. And what they did in that documentary was they talked about drugs and they talked about prostitution. And it was a really big deal. Well, after that documentary aired, it wasn't long. The mainline truck stops, and when I say mainline, I'm talking about Flying J, Love's, TA, Petro. They decided enough was enough. They were going to put a stop to it. So they started putting cops on all the lots. Like for a long time there in North Little Rock at the Petro, there was a on-duty police officer on that lot 24/7. When they changed shifts, one one cop would leave when the other cop got there. Same thing up in Gary, Indiana. Same thing out in California. They raided the lot out in California, and I was in Ontario West when they raided that lot. Those of y'all that have been out there, you know that lot's fenced in. It was fenced in even back then. It's always had a fence around it as long as I've been driving. They raided that lot like they were raiding a house. There were girls running everywhere. getting under trucks, jumping up in trucks. There were girls going all over the place. They started arresting not only the lot lizards, but they were arresting any drivers that had lot lizards. I mean, it was, they did a big crackdown on it. And then as that started happening, sometimes drivers would call the law on them if they seen them on the lot. The stores would call the law if they seen them on the lot. And it cracked down on them so hard that it wasn't long. It didn't take but a couple months, and you just didn't see lot lizards walking the lot anymore. Kind of like now, you don't see them walking the lot. I know some people claim they do, and every now and again, maybe once a year, I might see one that might be a lot lizard, but unsure if it is or if it's another driver, right? But they don't walk the lot like they used to. You know, it's not like that. But there for a long time, they went to what was called Backpage. A lot of the drivers were finding them on Backpage, and they would be listed on Backpage under the massage section. Only really they were lot lizards. That's how it changed up. Well, somewhere in there, like I think 2016, 2017 maybe, FBI seized Backpage, shut it down. Well, when the FBI seized Backpage, Craigslist got scared, so they started watching it a whole lot closer. You know, so Craigslist cracks down on it. You might still find one on there maybe if you were looking hard enough, but they kind of crack down on it too. I have no idea how the drivers are doing it nowadays. I'm sure there's an app for it because anytime there's a market for something, you're gonna have that illegal activity there, right? It's just like if they outlawed guns tomorrow, there's still gonna be guns on the street because that illegal activity is always going to be there as long as there's someone willing to pay for it. Well, the sex trade is no different. That illegal activity will always be there. But how they're doing it now, I have no idea. I lost track. I lost track after FBI took the back page down. And there is your 5 minute history on lot lizards and truck stops. I know way more than I should about that subject. I've made too many videos about it, I guess. Let me get up here and find out what y'all talking about. I've never seen a lot lizard in my time out here. Skyline, it's rare. It's really, really, really rare. But I will say this. It is a whole lot safer out here since lot lizards are not here anymore. It's a lot cleaner and a lot safer. A lot of drivers used to get killed. It really sucked when they beat on your door at 2 o'clock in the morning and you had to be up at 4 in the morning to leave with your load. Um, it, there was a lot of annoyance to it. Now, it was a lot of entertainment. Like I used to sit up in the front seat of my truck and I would watch lot lizards for hours. It was better than watching TV. I mean, a while ago, whenever I said I miss seeing a half naked truck driver chase a lot lizard across a lot, that's something I have actually seen happen. That happened in North Little Rock. You know, a lot lizard got up in his truck, I guess got him undressed or whatever, and she grabbed his wallet and his cell phone. So, you know, took off across the lot running. And he jumped down out of the truck in his boxers, barefooted, no shirt, belly bouncing in the air, chasing her across the lot. You, you know that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff was entertaining. It it kept the boredom down. To be honest with you, I think whenever they cut lot lizards out, that's a lot of the reason that a lot of drivers don't want to run OTR anymore. Because when lot lizards were out here, everybody wanted to run OTR. Well, when they cut that out, the only guys that wanted to run OTR are the people that didn't care, didn't mess with the lot lizards. You know, so it cut the driver pool down quite a bit. I didn't give a crap. It was a whole lot more peaceful on the lot. I could sleep all night long. I didn't have anybody beating on my door. I didn't have to worry about getting robbed. I didn't have to worry about if I got up in the middle of the night, walking inside a truck stop, getting robbed in between by a pimp or some he, she, or some girl, you know, that ain't ate in 4 days and been high on meth. You know, it was it was bad out here back then. It was a lot more dangerous in these truck stops back then. What's going on, Craig? Craig, man, what's going on? Yes, Dallas used to get real wild. Dallas is where I saw the girl, and I told this story in one of my other videos. But Dallas is where I saw the girl bend down in the water puddle and wash herself off after climbing out of a truck driver's truck. Snapper, may your mother's beautiful soul rest in peace, and you'll see her again. And hell, who knows, you might be black Mexican or some shit, whatever the hell the Bible says about. Never know. You never know. Just go to Memphis if you want to see a lot lizard. Alan, I don't want to see them that much. I'm kind of glad they're not here. I do kind of miss the entertainment. The entertainment was great, but I'm kind of glad they're not out and about like they used to be. To be honest with you, let's change poly trucking into poly chick trucking. Add some excitement. No, poly ain't gonna tolerate that at all. I can guarantee you that. What's going on, Nick Earl? Hope you're having fun with fantasy football this year. Nick Earl's in the house. I appreciate your honesty and kindness, and I'll be checking Hunt out. Yeah, check him out. Hunt's a decent company. If you're looking to leave CFI, you will definitely make more money at Hunt than you will at CFI. I can assure you of that. Crete finally has a new terminal in West Memphis. I heard about that, Skyline. They were building it whenever I was there. And y'all really needed a new terminal in Memphis. That Memphis terminal y'all were using, it sucked. I tried to take a shower in there one time, and I probably should have got a tetanus shot after getting out of that shower. And it was all cold water, didn't have any hot water. I think there's homeless shelters out there with better showers than that old terminal there in West Memphis. It was bad. Who'd they share that with? Bowen, I think it was, or something like that. Little Rock is going to be popping them people like crazy. Barry, blind side. What about the Wild West truck stop in Vegas? That was the last place a lady approached me. Back in the Lot Lizard days, I didn't go to Vegas a whole lot back then. I was working for Stevens Transport. I was running a lot from California out to the East Coast. Uh, I had a pretty good little loop going there for the longest where I'd come out of Texas. I'd come out with a student. I was training back then. And I would run out to like Salinas, California, or somewhere out in that area, deliver. Then I'd go pick up produce there in the Salinas area. And I would run it out to Whole Foods out in Connecticut. And then I would come out of there, go down to Florida, grab orange juice, and go back to Texas. And I would make that loop over and over and over. So I didn't get to Vegas very much back then. What's going on, Logic Neo? Got Logic Neo in the house. Near Wild West, Vegas still gets a lot of action. Yeah, see, I don't know. We have a terminal in Vegas or in Henderson, but I'm parked out there in Henderson when I'm down there. I'll park at Henderson and then I'll catch an Uber sometimes and go down the strip if I want to gamble. I'll go down there and then I'll just Uber back. So I don't ever stay in the truck stops around there. There's a Walmart that I go to every now and then, but the only one I've been able to find that allows trucks is dang, I know how to get there. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. It's off the loop. Like I come out from the plant and I take that loop, whatever it is there. It's one of those Walmarts, but it's the only one I found that allows trucks. Now it's 85 for a QV setup online. Well, that's cheaper than it used to be. You're right. It was fun watching them get chased and hide. Yes, blindside. It was wild. And I can always tell a driver's new when they talk about lot lizards. Because drivers nowadays will be like, yeah, I saw a lot lizard down there. Man, you've seen one girl that was a driver probably. And if she was a lot lizard, you know, you don't know what lot lizards are really about unless you were out here back then. It was different. Like you'd see 15 or 20 of them on a lot. They hadn't showered in about 2 weeks. They looked like they had been awake for the last 5 days. They were so methed out they could polish your rims, service you, and still run from you across the parking lot. It was a totally different world out here back then than what it is now. I'm going to try Northwest Regional, driving for a while, and say no more OTR. Well, if that's what you're wanting to do, blindside, you do what makes you happy, man. That's what I tell everybody driving a truck. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. And any of y'all that have ever watched a video when I talk about a company that I'm working at, I always say, this is what works for me. Do your own research. Don't just follow some YouTuber because that's what they're doing. Okay? It might work great for them, but that don't mean that you're going to have the same experience because every driver is different. Depends on where you live, depends on how much home time you want, depends on what you're looking for out of a company, what kind of equipment you want to drive. There are a lot of factors that go into making a decision at what company you should go to work for. Now, I really love where I work at. I believe a lot in where I work at. I make good money where I work, but do I think everybody would be perfect there? No, really depends on who you are. The next guy may not. You know what I'm saying? So you do what makes you happy. I think it's awesome. As long as you find your niche and you are happy, that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. You can be hauling pigs across Montana. If that's what you want to do, go for it, man. Get after it. Don't worry about nobody else. I only stopped there, drop a trailer off, or pick one up, but I never went inside. I don't know if I've ever been in that truck stop before or not, to be honest. I am unsure if I've ever been in that truck stop. I know where it's at, but I don't think I've ever been in there. I go to Henderson most of the time. Now, I've stopped at the Petro there in North Vegas. I've been there quite a few times. Um, Probably stopped in that one more than any of them, but I don't think I've ever seen a lot lizard at the Petro in North Vegas. Even back in the day when lot lizards were bad, I don't think I ever saw them. If I did, I don't remember. Yeah, let me see here. On the fence about regional, might also move to southern Utah and work down there instead. Blindside, like I said, you just do what makes you happy. I did regional. I did regional when I was Creek Carriers. I did Midwest regional or Mid South regional. I liked it at first, and then I got bored with it. But I get bored if I'm running the same area all the time. I like a good mix. So, but like I said earlier, you're different. You may love it, so you just go on with it and let us know how it goes. Nowadays, is that a lot lizard or Instagram TikTok driver? Blind sight? Oh man, you are on point. You are on point right there. And I started laughing because I've actually had a point where I saw something at one time and I had the curtain cracked, but it wasn't all the way open. And I was parked and I stuck my head out the curtain and I was like, "Is that a lot lizard or is that somebody dancing for TikTok?" you know, is, is there a phone mounted over there somewhere? So I've actually had that experience. That's why I started laughing like that. That's funny, man. Hauling them pigs in 100-degree weather takes a special kind of driver. It sure does. It sure does. I remember back in the day hauling hoppers, man, and I had a load of apples come out of Washington that were headed out to Michigan. And yes, they do haul apples sometimes in a hopper. And I think they make orange or apple juice that way. Apple juice or ingredients for dog food or whatever. But I was hauling it out to Michigan. And I'd stopped one of them truck stops there in Montana. I don't remember where. I was somewhere in the middle of the state. Went inside to eat, sat down and ate. I walked back out to the truck, and I'll be damned if there wasn't bees circling my truck. They had them apples sitting out there, and it's they haul it like in February, March. It's still cold, but warm enough that that apple can get warm in that trailer with that black tarp over the top, right? I sit there smoking a cigarette, looking at my truck, debating as to whether I was going to fight through the bees to get inside, or if I was just going to wait them out and see if they would leave. So I decided I'd go ahead and take a chance on it. And I walked up to the truck kind of slowly, watching, seeing if they were going to attack me, but they never bothered me. They didn't. They were so focused on them apples inside that truck or inside that trailer, they never bothered me. I got inside the truck, made sure none got in there with me. And they were, I could see them in the mirror, just buzzing around the trailer. It was crazy. It was wild. Let me see here. Have you ever tried the steak at the Big Texan in Amarillo? No, I sure have not. But I do have a Big Texan story, and I'm gonna light a cigarette and tell you it. It's pretty good, or I wouldn't say pretty good. It was a sad night, but it's a good story. Amarillo is another one of them places that used to be real bad back in the day. Used to have a lot of lot lizards. Also had a dude there that was selling drugs over the radio. Y'all might remember if you've been around a while. You might remember him on the radio. Anybody want that green smoke, that black smoke, that chicken feed, that high speed chicken feed, keep you awake all night? You know, that, that was kind of his line over the radio, right? Anyway, one night I was parked at the TA, I believe, the one across from the Loves. I think I was at the TA over there that night. Got up the next morning, man, and it was they were hollering on the radio. Cops were all over at the Texan. But anyway, a driver had parked over there. I've never parked over there, and not sure. I think they had some truck parking, or may have had some back then. Driver was parked over there anyway. They found this driver underneath his trailer, bled out. Somebody had knocked him in the back of the head, cut him, robbed him, pushed him up under his own trailer, and he died over there. It was kind of messed up, but that's the kind of crap that was going on back in the day out here. It was like that. One time I was parked up in Baltimore, Maryland, and the TA there. And any of y'all that ever been around there, that truck stop can get pretty rough too. A couple of trucks down from me, this dude picked up a lot lizard. He opened up the passenger door for her to get in, and she climbed up in, and her pimp or boyfriend or whatever wasn't very far. She kicked the door for him so he could come in behind her. They rushed up in the truck. They robbed the driver. They shot the driver in the head and left him in his sleeper. They actually ended up getting caught though because everybody heard the gunshot go off. Somebody called the law. But I mean, that's the kind of crap that was happening out here back then. So trust me, it's boring out here that now that lot lizards are not out here anymore, but it's a whole lot safer than what it used to be by a long shot. Oh, what's going on, 7Q? Storming? Man, I ain't seen no rain. I ain't been through a good storm in a while, man. Light up, brother. Is it storming or are you watching a good show on TV and just got a good dap? I really enjoyed my trip to San Antonio. It was just difficult to communicate because I don't speak Spanish. Nice people though. San Antonio is a good place. um, I enjoy San Antonio. San Antonio Riverwalk's a lot of fun. If you're ever down in that area and you want to go do something, there's plenty of stuff to do around there. If you're doing a restart and you want to get out of the truck for a little while, there's plenty of stuff to do around San Antonio. They got the Riverwalk. They got the Alamo, of course, which I'm not really going to talk the Alamo up. It's basically four concrete walls, and they're not very big. You're going to see why we lost when you see it. Um, they got Ripley's, believe it or not, which is right across the street from the Alamo. They got a Hooters right down there on the Riverwalk. It's a lot of fun. It's a good little spot to go to. So there's plenty to do in San Antonio when you're around there. There's a lot to do. Let's see here. It's about 10:20 where I'm at. So I'm gonna get ready to head to bed and shut this stuff down. I gotta put all my stuff back up. So I grabbed my laptop and got it down so that I could do this live. And definitely got to learn some Spanish. We have a flood of illegal immigrants coming into northern Idaho all of a sudden. Well, are they just coming up there to work the farms or are they moving there? Blindside? Because I know back in the day, immigrants used to travel a lot, um, just working the farms. They would just be there seasonally. And I know they're harvesting potatoes. Potatoes is one of the things that is coming out right now, if I'm not mistaken. Barry, you be safe too. Like I said, I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna call it a night. It was good chatting with y'all. I appreciate all of y'all that did stop by and hang out. I know I'm not the best host in the world. There's a lot of great channels out there, but I appreciate y'all stopping by to spend a few minutes with those Snapper. Y'all take care, stay safe, and like always, guys, be good to one another, and let's keep trucking.